questions of perception, okay, and perspective, how we should look at things, okay, and why it's wrong to just take things on face value. Well, it comes back to the rudder analogy, the rudder on a ship. What a tiny instrument turns such a huge vessel, such a huge vehicle. And that's how it is with the good ship, planet Earth. We're being steered by a critical mass. And remember, that could be a tiny amount of people, okay? And there's a critical mass of people that are still in positions of status quo in the world. So the evildoers at the very top, a tiny fraction of a percent, that are really the rudder controlling the ship, control also the mechanisms in between. Like in a transmission, you have the intermediary gears that transfer the power. You got your torque converter, for example. You've got other mechanisms that need to kick in order for the car to shift gears. And it's that same kind of way. When you turn a ship, it's not just the rudder. The rudder's connected to shafts, right? And the shafts have gears. So that's a critical mass of people that they've got under their control by appeasing them, by making sure that they're satisfied, that they're free, that they're absolutely free. And that includes financially free. Do you understand? So that's all they need. They need a critical mass, and they hold their nose, and they make sure that they maintain this critical mass of people that are prosperous and free, financially free in society, financially secure. That means out of fear. They're not stressed out. They're at that point where they're comfortable. They're well healed, you might say. So this is how the whole thing works. And I see it as clear as light of day. And because I think about these things and I ask God to, always be with me and help me to, solve this puzzle, this riddle, what's going on here? This society-wide enigma of why the problems don't get solved, why do they just get worse? What are these horrible forces that are in play that have this tremendous momentum to just devour humanity? And the only solution is just cost of living inflation. That this is currency debasement, same thing. It's like a scale. When you raise your cost of living through cost of living inflation, those things you can't get away from. I don't care about luxury items, knickknacks, trinkets, and all that crap. I don't care. I'm talking about the basic, essential human needs: food, shelter, water, energy needs. Do you understand? That's all I'm really concerned about in the market basket of goods when I try to help people understand basic economic principles. And it all conflates when you talk about Scripture, and Jesus said the love of money is the root of all the evil. This is the source. This is the cause of all our fears, our insecurities, our stress, our frustration. It doesn't matter if you are well healed. You're going to get it through osmosis from other people around you. Remember, you're in the same boat. If people's lives are affected in a very negative way, you look at all the crime. I like to watch these crime shows, Dateline, Forensic Files, and some of these other ones out there. I like the real life interesting, tell the tale of the story. And, sometimes it is out of just crazy passion and love and all this crazy stuff. That's no reason to kill. If you really love somebody, then you bless them, okay? That's being the bigger person. That's being the big person. You don't hate them. You don't kill them, okay? But it's always about money, okay? And I just watched one this morning, and I can't remember the name of this new crime show they've been putting out. It might be old, but by the time you get it on antenna TV, it could be 5 years old. But, all about money, just money is a motivator. So this is the power of the purse and the power that these grand puppeteers have, this tiny critical mass that is the rudder, and they're using this critical mass of society. Remember, they got to hold their nose because they just as soon everybody died of starvation. They don't want to share what rightfully belongs to the people because it is just your average everyday people that are responsible for all the accumulated wealth, all this westernization, the industrialization, the mechanization, the automation, the robotics, all this technology. Okay, it belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to all of us rightfully. That is God's opinion. Okay, you just don't go ask the question to God. Okay, you have just the same relationship that I have anybody else. We all have equal access to the Spirit of truth. That's it, man. You're just laying your cards on the table and ask the question. Say, well, this is my opinion on this, God, but what is the right way to look at this thing? I don't want to be some freaky, stupid, idealistic, pipe dreaming, dumbass, naive idiot, okay, fool, hardy, bleeding heart, whatever you want to call me. Okay, I don't want to be that person, God, but tell me. I do want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because I want to be somebody. And I have to be somebody in your eyes, because you're going to judge me someday. I'm going to stand before you, and we're going to reconcile here. I'm going to explain to you the substance and why I deserve to go to a better world, what my values are. And I'm going to prove to you that my values are the same as yours, that I value human beings, souls of men, way above the things, the temporal things of this world, which are fleeting, but like a dream, and insecure too, because we never know when that dream is over. When, just like being jarred out of your sleep, we never know when a stray bullet's going to take our life, or any manifold number of things are going to take our lives at any age. That's the way it is. It's very, very very tenuous. Our existence is very tenuous as physical human beings having this body. Okay, because like I've said before, we're not bodies. We have bodies, and like you have a car. Of course, our essence is integrated extremely well. I'll admit that. The senses and all that, but as easily as God gave us these bodies, okay, I firmly believe He can give us new ones. It's as simple as that, and we all need to believe that. That's having faith in God, that His power is unlimited, okay? And if you can imagine it, okay, He certainly has the power to make it come true, to manifest it, to make it tangible, something you can hold in your hands. Okay, just like when you sleep at night and have dreams, you have a body in your dreams, right? You're doing stuff, you have senses and all that. It's like that with life and death. So this paradox we're dealing with, this is what's tough. And what gets me through it is just blessing everybody, saying at least I know how I would have it if I had my way. All the time I romance the idea of going out and doing some interviews and getting people's opinions on some stuff. And one of the things I'd like to get people's opinion on is this idea I've come up, because I've talked about more than one way to skin a cat to fix things in society, and how, we need universal, absolute freedom, unconditional, remember, and that it has to include being financially free, which I firmly believe is God's will, and that's coming. That's what we need to prepare ourselves for, which is a huge departure from the way it is, right? Everybody would admit that. Okay, come on. Everybody's got to admit that. That's a huge departure, that idea of everybody being well healed on the face of the earth, not just in America, all over the world, born with the idea that the earth is inherently yours and mine by birthright, because it's a thus saith the Lord thing. And of course we need to follow the rules of the Lord, or else we're not going to be happy. We're going to be assaulting our conscience, right? And so by neglecting it and just saying, well, I can be happy even though you're miserable, and the stuff I have, everybody can have, it's plentiful, but it's sorry, or I believe it's not, because somebody told me everybody can't have it, or else you wouldn't have anything special, right? There's that old philosophy, right, of where it's only valued by the holder because other people can't have what he's got, right? I mean, we all know. I'm not playing stupid here. I get it. I get the resistance to the idea, but can you admit it? Will you admit that? Will you stand before God some day and justify that belief, that you would hold something as an exclusive privilege and have your group of your clique hold those things and deny others, even though there's plenty for everybody, because you justified it by saying, well, then nobody would serve me. Okay, and that would be the only justification, that people would stop going to their jabs. Okay, right? That's it. That's all you really can justify that and rationalize that idea, that you couldn't share the wealth, even though there was plenty of wealth, plenty of prosperity to share. Or maybe you could come up with Victor Hugo, quote him, and say, well, prosperity makes monsters. You don't want it, but you yourself are a huge, big, fat hypocrite, because you certainly believe in it, and you make sure your children never go and want. So you see the problem here? You get it? So the question I would ask people is simply, look, if you could vote that everybody in America, let's start with America because then we set a shining light example for the rest of the world to follow our lead. Okay. So the question would be this: that would you be in favor of everybody in America be given their own government approved money printing press? You see how easy it'd be to skin this cat. You want to play games. You know you want to play hardball. You want to get crazy. Let's cut to the chase. Okay, there's a big fat way in your face. Okay, let's just end this thing once and for all. Let's settle it. Let's find out if what I'm saying is harebrained. But until we do, you can't say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that society couldn't work just perfectly fine. If everybody was well healed. Okay, nobody was living in unnecessary, invented fear. That's what it is. When it has to do with money, it's absolutely artificial, invented, inorganic, unnatural. Okay, it's a scam from the pit of hell. Okay, and the only irony is that argument doesn't hold water, and you can't prove that it does. That we're not going to serve each other of our own free will and accord, and that'll work a lot better. The only difference is we go to work with a bounce in our steps. We do what we do for humanity. We serve. I serve because I fear God. This is the payment of fearing God. I must serve humanity. I've got to. I've got to care. That's why I make these videos. That's why I do what I do. I'm driven. I'm compelled. I have to. Otherwise, I'm assaulting my conscience. I've got to share what he's given me. And plus, I don't want anybody's metaphorical blood on my hands or on my head. I want everybody to be blessed. I want evil people to stop being evil, stop being vile. I mean, for God's sake, you hurt a child, I'm going to wring your neck myself without even thinking about it. I catch you doing it. Okay, you see, we can figure this thing out, folks. We can figure it out. We can fix our problems. But there's powerful forces against it. This rudder that's controlling us, remember, these are people that don't care about your political affiliation and persuasions and bents. They don't care. They don't care about your gender. They don't care about your race, your color. That is because we're all the same race. Okay, they don't care about your ethnicity, your national origins. They don't care about anything, but they make you think that. They inject, this is the way they muddied the water. Keep diversions, distractions, keep you busy, confused and ignorant, stupid, and just not knowing right from wrong, up from down, taking away morality and ethics and principles, and just, hey, it's okay. It's capitalism. Dog, are you against capitalism? You're against America. You're a communist. I mean, you're a fascist. Who are you? Get out. So, you speak out against crony capitalism and you're afraid that you're going to be portrayed that way. But crony capitalism is exactly what they're all about. This is how when I say things don't happen in a vacuum, I'm talking about socialism and all the socialist, communistic kind of sympathy out there. It's because of people, it strikes a chord. It's unjust. Crony capitalism is unjust. It's wrong. It's immoral. It's unethical. It creates wealth imbalance. It's cheating. Could you imagine playing Monopoly and you go into the game and you're allowed to borrow unlimited amounts of money at the start, amounts of money to play the game? Who would ever play it? Because if you didn't win with the first roll, okay, then it's over because somebody took all the money essentially. Okay, you understand? For a very short while, they take the most. Whoever takes the most money, teams up best, okay, hitches their wagon first, jumps on the bandwagon. Do you get how this works? First is going to win the game. So if that was the rules, nobody would ever play. But they all know it takes a while for that to happen, and a lot of it's a roll of the dice and luck and all that, unless somebody's cheating, right? But you understand that the money is a huge advantage. And it's a huge disadvantage to not have money. It's a huge advantage to have high rents, right? We all know. We've all played Monopoly. You get how it goes. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same crapola out there. It's capitalism. So when I hear Alex Jones, I mean, look, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I absolutely admire Alex Jones because of the fact that he's bold as a lion. He always denies being courageous. He talks about his survival and all this. I get it. He's a very noble kind of guy that wants to preserve his name and history. And, but he does go over the top. He really does. And he needs to, for his own good, because look, I'm one of those people that kind of has idolized sort of, and I say that in the best of ways, Alex Jones as a role model and look up to him. And a lot of people are very hurt by, watching his persecution. They're not happy, including myself. And there's a lot of good, decent, upright people out there that are not happy to see the threat to the First Amendment, to free speech in America. We're not happy. Even if I disagreed with everything he says, he is a very intelligent, he's way off the charts as a genius, savant, whatever. Dumb as a box of rocks, I admit, in a lot of ways. And he losing his cool is one of those ways that he's got to get, and I am not going to tell him to, get on drugs or anything. Okay, I am opposed to drugs.